Hey you guys, welcome and welcome back. We are going to get into another TikTok video reaction, okay? I'm so glad that you guys are here, okay? Thank you for all the love that you showed the channel. So I figured we would do another one, and I have another one after this, and I have another one after that, and we're going to be doing some things, okay? So y'all be sure to like and subscribe to continue to catch the vibe. Be sure to share this video with someone who you think might enjoy it, someone who you think might benefit from it. Also get in the comments below and let me know what you think, because today we are going to be talking about rejection. When you get rejected either by a person or a job or a group of people, and you kind of start, feeling bad about yourself, but there's really no reason for you to feel bad about yourself. That's why we're doing this video, because there's just been some things going on in my life, you guys, and y'all know I'm a sharer and a carer, okay? I share because I care, and I oftentimes find that when we're in the most difficult situation in our life, or we have a lot going on in our life, that it's good for us to share, because you never know who may benefit from your story or what it is that you have to say. But I definitely have been observing my surroundings and, observing myself, as within, so without, as above, so below, all of that good stuff, to understand where I'm kind of at right now, like the stage that I'm in. And I was watching a video that popped up on my timeline about rejection, and how rejection is not only protection, but it's redirection, and it's for a reason. And it's like, these things sometimes, but you also have to sometimes be reminded of them and refresh your memory of them, because when you're in certain situations, it really can take you out of your body. Like, it can take you outside of yourself. And the best way that we're able to grow and evolve is by reflecting on what's within, because our outward reality is basically a result or a mirror image of our inward reality and what we feel on the inside, which is just being projected energetically to us on the outside of ourselves. So if you want to solve a problem going on around you, more than likely the solution is to look within yourself and solve the problem within you. And then your outward reality will reflect that. Seeing the video, relating it to my situation, meditating on it, whatever you want to call it, pondering it, thinking about it, I felt like I should bring this topic to you guys. So as always, again, be sure to like and subscribe so you can continue to catch the vibe. Share the video, comment below, let me know what you think, and let's get into it. All right, you guys, so we're just gonna let it play.
At this point, I stopped questioning when things don't work out for me. Because if something is not working out for me, clearly it's not for me. Rejection is protection. If something is not happening, if you are being rejected from a person, a situation, a job, it's because you're being protected. It's just that you don't know what you're being protected from.
Ooh, that was cold-blooded, wasn't it? That's true, though. Rejection is always protection. You just don't know yet what you're being protected from. Ooh, bars.
That I want to do, that I have a passion for. Yeah. It seems that there's some type of accident or there's something that prevents me from.
I always wanted to sing. That was my highest excitement. But every time I pursued it, something would go wrong. I had an audition in front of P. Diddy, and my entire voice, everything just went out. I was fine before I got in front of him. I wasn't nervous. I got the jitters, but there was nothing physically wrong with my voice, and it just went out.
Ooh, what is that, y'all? She said she had an audition in front of P. Diddy, and all of a sudden her voice just went out. I just thought that was boop, boop, boop. Do you hear me?
I had an audition in front of Alicia Keys' manager, who told me I needed to lose weight. But that didn't go very well. I lived across the street from a fancy hotel, and one day R. Kelly's tour bus pulled up, and I grabbed my burned CD of all my songs that I had written and my voice, and I met him at his bus, and I gave him my CD, and I was like, just so proud of myself that I had done that. But, he didn't say anything to me, and nothing happened from it.
Not R. Kelly, y'all. Not R. Kelly and P. Diddy. This woman got a covering over her, child. She is covered.
I auditioned in front of Missy Elliott. And just every time I would follow my highest excitement of pursuing a singing career, something would go wrong, or something would happen or prevent me from performing the way I know I can. And at the time, you get so discouraged, so just torn up inside. I remember I auditioned for American Idol. I slept on a metal grate in the Washington, D.C. Convention Center. And I got down to... Is there something in my teeth here? I got down to the 4th round of auditions. Because this is, what you see on TV is not what actually happens. But I got to the 4th round of auditions. And the producer just kept looking at me. And he's like, there's something about you. I want to take you forward. You're really good. But there's just something... Yeah, I'm going to say no. And at the time, it hurt. It hurted. It hurted bad. But now, looking back on it and understanding what I know about those people, some of them that I met, and the industry itself, and my level of sensitivity and all that kind of stuff, I would not have made it. Mm-hmm. I would not have made it through most of that. Rejection is protection. Rejection is redirection. Rejection is not to break you, but to shape you and to move you in a different direction. So, from that, I ended up, getting a really great job in corporate America. I got to travel the country. There's only 5 states I haven't seen or been to. That led me to working for the United Nations, and I got to see the world. But during, I can totally relate. It hurts. It hurts when you don't get what you think is yours, what is so burning within you. It's hard to accept the redirections sometimes, but just know that it's protection. Yeah. Thanks.
Now that one was deep, because she not only mentioned the diddler, but she also mentioned the Pied Piper. And we see what's going on right now. But back then, she didn't see, she didn't know. That's what goes back to the first clip. Sometimes when we get rejected, we're being protected and we get frustrated and we try to fight against it. We doubt it. We try to move in different directions to make what we want happen, but we don't know why we're being protected. And that is one of the best examples that I've seen online of proving that point. Because a lot of people say, oh, rejection is protection and all this type of stuff, and they'll tell stories about people and things like that. But the way, and she could be lying, but why would she lie? You get what I'm saying? I mean, I guess you could lie to get clout. It doesn't matter. I feel like that lady was telling the truth. And even if she wasn't, she's a great storyteller. And no matter what those other stories are, a lot of us have experiences of our own, just like she has experiences. And if you look back on those experiences and you really think about it in a way that, in a way that's more objective, then you may see even yourself some of those redirections that took place and it protected you from something really bad. Or you may see where those redirections were attempting to take place and you didn't listen and you tried to force it and you had a negative outcome. Okay? I'm just saying, I went through a lot of hell, y'all. I went through a lot of hell with my oldest kid's father, my ex-husband. And I remember when I was working at McDonald's, because we were both working at McDonald's, and he was there and I was there and I got fired. That was actually my protection, I feel, from him. So I wouldn't be around him. So I wouldn't continue to carry on a relationship with him or need to, because part of the reason why we even got together was because the manager would make me get off late and miss my last last bus and I didn't have a way to get home. And then my uncle was kind of in a position at that time where he didn't want to come and pick me up. So I didn't have a way to get home. And here comes my ex-husband.
I'll give you a ride. I know you stay close.
We was living like 2 streets down from each other in the same general area, the same general neighborhood. And I feel that because he was a person who may facilitate me going down the wrong path in life, and my guides, my ancestors, my spirit team, whoever you want to call it, God, source, right? All of my protective people saw that and they were trying to redirect me. But see, I was hard-headed. I didn't listen. And the whole time that I was quote unquote dating him, which it really wasn't dating, it was hanging out, okay, doing nothing, being delinquent, I felt like I was not doing what I was supposed to be doing. But when you're in a mindset where you're just tired and exhausted and drained and traumatized, it's no excuse, right? And I, every day, trust me, am paying for the consequences of my actions. But when you're in that position, it is difficult to see.
About the time that this one pediatrician office decided to leave me jobless. Cheers. Aww. I started looking for a new job. Went to this pediatrician office. Literally today I looked up reviews on that office and the person that's still there, she is the wife of the doctor. So I got this interview at this pediatrician's office. I walk in and the secretary is the one that's introducing me and she's telling me about the job, but she's not telling me in a way like she's even excited. She's like just looking through the papers and she's just like, so what's your experience? Usually people when they welcome you in, they're like, hi, welcome. How are you? Blah. No, she was just like asking me questions, but like she was already like in a bad mood. Customer came in, put the wrong date of birth. She was like, you're so stupid. Like, I can't believe the way that this lady was talking to customers, how she would answer the phone, she would hang up on people. Like, I was getting a little bit of like bad vibes, but I was also like, this was a good paying opportunity. But this is also a sign that you need to follow your gut. She'd be like, so you have no experience in the medical field? No, but I have, and I listed her all of my experiences. She was just like, she was just giving me the impression that you're not gonna hire me. Towards the end, she was just like talking and showing me around. This is what you're gonna have to do. If you're willing to learn, then I guess I'll teach you. I was young, okay? I was like in my early 20s. I didn't really know better. There were a bunch of red flags in that interview and I should have seen it coming. I forgot to mention this. She also said that people don't last with her. That's another red flag. Anyway, she tells me that I have the job. So to put in my 2 weeks. And mind you, throughout those 2 weeks, she was texting me. She told me what color scrubs to get. I bought the scrubs. I think they were like $40, $60 scrubs. Like, she even texted me 2 days before. You're still coming on Monday, right? Yes, of course. Like, I already put in my 2 weeks. Like, I'll see you Monday. Tell me why this woman. The night before, so about to go to bed, when I get a text from her and she's telling me, hey, just letting you know we're no longer gonna need you at the office. Not even a good luck, so sorry. I was so upset. I already quit my job. Like, why? What happened? Like, I deserve an explanation. Like, I quit my job already. I bought the scrub. You were literally texting me the day before, like, making sure that I was gonna come. Nothing. I think this woman even blocked me. I went to go leave a very long review. That's when I saw. And through all of those reviews, and so many people were talking about how, like, horrible she is, how disrespectful she is. She calls people names. She just hangs up on people. She, like, is just very rude. Horrible person. Thankfully though, got an even better job with even better pay and it was amazing. And with that money, we were able to have our wedding. We were able to have a nice honeymoon. Like, really, people's rejection is God's protection.
See, that's wrong. See, people be dirty, y'all. People be dirty. The way they did her, she quit her job, gave her 2 weeks notice, and then they said, we don't need you, child. Ooh. I would have been so mad. It don't matter about calling. I would have went up there and gave her some words. But see, that was when I was a little bit, that was when I was a little bit younger. Okay. Nowadays, I don't know. I might still go up there and give her some words. But I'm healing. I'm not healed. Okay. But that's crazy. Why would you do that to somebody? But you know what? That's another sign that like people are always, this is the thing. People are always like talking about how, oh, well, why are people so hateful? Why are people so mean? Why do people do negative things? Why are people just, trying to hold people back and all this negative stuff? And sometimes what we don't realize is that that's their job. That's their job, boo-boo. Boo-boo, shoo-shoo. That's what they signed up for. That's what they came here for. That's what they signed up for. That's their job, is to be that negative, raggedy, dirty, grimy, shisty person who does bad things to people. And more than likely it's because they refuse to change within themselves. But they're meant to be that person person so that they can help perpetuate and elevate and push forward towards ascension those of us who are meant to be in different positions, who are meant to have a major evolution of our soul and an evolution of our lives. So it's like, don't be mad at them. You know what I mean? Don't waste too much energy on them. Ooh, thank you for being such a petty, dirty dog ass. Thank you. Ridiculous.
I'm going to tell you a story about how sometimes in life you don't receive what you want because there's actually something better out there waiting for you at a later time. So I know of a couple who 20 years ago wanted to buy a house. They toured this house, and they thought that that house was perfect for them. I mean, they loved the lighting, they loved the kitchen, they loved the bedrooms, it had a pool. So they put an offer down and they started going through with the escrow. And they really felt that that was their house and they were meant to live on that street. But then something happened and the offer fell through because some other buyer came into the picture. There was all this mess, all this conflict, and they didn't end up getting the house. They were devastated and they were frustrated because they've been looking for so long and they thought, oh my God, I finally found the house, and it fell through. But a part of them didn't lose hope because they knew that sometimes things don't work out because something better is coming. So they kind of just let go of the idea of buying a house in that exact moment. They kept staying at their usual apartment. Time moved on. A year later, they decided, okay, we're gonna start house hunting all over again. And then their real estate agent notified them that there is another house right next door to the house that they were supposed to buy. This house was bigger, it had way better lighting, it was newer, and the price was right what they wanted. And so they put in an offer on that house, and they got the house and they moved in. This couple couldn't have believed, like they were so grateful that they didn't get the house a year before because they were much more financially situated. The house that they wanted and they finally got was a lot better than the house they toured before. And they were just so grateful and so happy that they got redirected and rejected the first time around so that they could end up where they're actually meant to be, which is literally next door to the house that they thought they wanted in the first place. So if this does not tell you that sometimes in life, things do not work out for you because something better is coming, then I don't know what will. Trust the setbacks, trust the redirections in your life. Trust that when you get rejected or you get a no from the universe, it's not actually a no, it's a not yet, or I have something better.
That was deep.
Let me tell you, I'm a follow God all the way to the end of time.
Amen.
So about 2 months ago, I was on my job hunt and I had applied to Smile Direct Club, went all the way through the interview process. They said they were not interested and they was moving on with other candidates. I was crushed, like literally crying, so sad because I wanted the job so bad. I wanted the job. Tell me why Smile Direct Club has made the incredibly difficult decision to wind down its global operations effective immediately.
Girl, not that pop. Not the lip pop, y'all. She said I was crushed. Tell me why. Effective immediately, y'all. The best revenge. I'm telling you. The way she popped her lip, her tongue, that's a clear sign that she was like, oh yeah, y'all moving on with different candidates. Y'all decided against hiring me. Well, I can't even do it. But the best revenge is literally living well. I know it's corny and I know it's, been said time and time again, but honestly, like, it's okay to feel your emotions about those things. I'm not saying don't feel your emotions because it's been times where I was literally crushed about not being able to get jobs, but I'm telling you it's something better. And I'm going to tell y'all a story when she get done with hers, but let me go back to that pop real quick. Hold on. Let's see that again.
So bad. I wanted the job. Tell me why Smile Direct Club has made the incredibly difficult decision to wind down its global operations effective immediately. For new customers interested in Smile Direct Club services, thank you for your interest, but aligner treatment is no longer available through our telehealth platform. That's their main hustle. So what the people gonna do? For existing customers, we apologize for the inconvenience, but customer care support is no longer available. So who are these people going to talk to for their issues and their problems? Thank you for your support and letting us improve over 2 million smiles and lives. So they have like FAQs that are like little questions entered with a response that you're going to get to your question. So let me read those for you as well. If a customer has placed an order for Smile Direct Club aligners but have not received my aligners, what should I do? They said, unfortunately, aligner treatment is no longer available through the Smile Direct Club platform. All orders that have not yet shipped have been canceled at this time, and you will not receive your aligners. Well, will I receive a refund? Will the customers receive a refund? Is the lifetime guarantee still in place? No. Effective immediately, the lifetime smile guarantee no longer exists. So how do people get their refund? That's the next question. How do I ask for a refund? There will be more information to come once the bankruptcy process determines next steps and additional measures customers can take. So you didn't tell me everything you can't do. The one thing you will want them to do, they can't do. Long story short, my God don't miss. And sometimes his rejection is your protection. Y'all have a good one. Stay blessed.
She said, y'all have a good one. Stay blessed. Listen, I'm trying to tell you. Y'all, that is hilarious. I thought she was going to say at this time we are not giving refunds. That's why I was like, ooh. But then they said they going into bankruptcy. That's crazy. And sometimes it's like a leapfrog type of thing. Like sometimes you feel, and this is the crazy part. I want to say this so that you guys can have this context. Sometimes it is a leapfrog type of thing. There are certain redirections that put you in a temporary holding space. And this temporary holding space is something that you're able to thrive in for a short period of time until you're ready to leapfrog on to the next thing. That's what I'm learning right now. There was a time, very interesting, I wanted to get a job in a different state. I wanted to relocate to a different state with my current company that I had been working for. But I think they ended up shutting down the offices that had ended up relocating to that other state, or they downsized. I'm pretty sure it was during, the vid. Okay. I think it was through the vid or during that time that they ended up downsizing the offices that I actually wanted to go there to relocate for. So meaning had I would have gotten a job that I wanted, I would have been in a totally different state that was unfamiliar to me, that was away from all of my family, all of my friends, everyone who I knew. I would only have access to the people who I worked with. And then if the situation, happened the way it happened and I was there, I would have been cut off from those people as well. And I would not have had any support system for me. And then I would have had my children there as well. So long story short, I ended up getting to like the second round of interviews for that particular position. And I was so crushed. Like when she said, that's why I was kind of laughing, because I wasn't laughing at her. It was just very familiar because I was very much so crushed that I did not get that position. It was crazy because within that company that I was working for, I had risen up from my entry level position probably, 1, 2, 3 different times. So I had risen up 3 different times, but I had barely made any progress in I made a lot of progress for myself, but I had barely made any progress when it comes to like my pay going up, responsibilities and duties, things like that. It's like the more that I rose up into the ranks or through the ranks, the more I became more of like a glorified babysitter. And it wasn't degrading, but it was very like demoralizing. It was very depressing. It brought me down. It was a descent from where I know my spiritual team wanted me to be. I was so confused as to why several positions I had applied for, not only was the position in the office that I applied for rejected, or I was rejected for that position that was actually within the state that I was in, just in the same office in a different department, but also, and that was actually happening 2 times, if I remember correctly, because I'm remembering it happened twice for 2 different departments within the state that I was in. But then I tried to go out for the position in a different state and I still got rejected. I'm just like, okay, they don't want me to move from where I am, whether it's for malicious reasons or whether it's because I'm not qualified. It doesn't matter. They don't want me to move from where I am. At this time, during this like whole story, I was pregnant with my third son, actually, my youngest son. I was pregnant with him, and I had gotten to the point where I was so big and so pregnant and so tired of dealing with them. And I knew I had another child on the way. I knew I was going to have another mouth to feed. I was exhausted, and I knew that I wasn't going to want to come back to work. And when I did come back to work, they ended up eliminating my position. And I believe that I talked to you guys in another video about this, but I can't remember which one. So they ended up eliminating my position that I was in, and they were putting me in a position that was more work, more frustration, and only like a small increment of financial increase. And I was done. Okay. So I started applying for jobs, and I got an even better job, making double what I was getting paid in my current position, even with the small incremental raise that I was planned to get. And I just was beside myself. I didn't know what to do. Like, not saying that I wasn't going to take the position. I knew I was going to take the position, but I didn't know like how to feel, how to think. Like, I was so happy. I was elated. I was excited. I was ecstatic for the fact that I got this position. And I was just kind of like in shock and disbelief because it had finally dawned on me. And even now, like, it still took a little bit longer for it to dawn on me that that's what actually was going on. And that's why you have to be very grateful and appreciative in the moment when it comes to the blessings that you're given. Because if you're not grateful for them, if you don't appreciate them, then it's going to be harder for you to recognize them when the cycle kind of happens again and it repeats itself. And that's kind of what happens in life, you guys. Cycles happen, they repeat themselves, and it's kind of like a test. When they say that God is testing you, it's not so much can you get through it and figure it out, it's can you pay attention to what repetitive things you've been doing to either get you in this situation, or what repetitive things you've been doing to stay in the situation, and how are you going to do something differently. That's what the test is about. And I'm learning that junk right now, okay? I'm learning that right now, y'all. Right now. It's happening again. And that's why I said it's a lily pad. It's kind of like a jump. Like, you jump from here to there to here to there to get from one landmass to the final destination, to get from the beginning of your life to the end of your life and do the things that you've, decided to come on this earth and do. It's a lily pad jump, and some lily pads are bigger than others, which means your journey on them will be longer than others. Some are smaller than others and it'll be very quick. Some are not even really there at all and you're supposed to skip over them, but it's all a part of the process. And even if you think that you've been redirected from one thing to another and that was your protection and you accepted it, never get too comfortable in that current position. Never get too comfortable where you are, because little do you know that where you are may just be something temporary, and it's only a short detour or only a short stop on your journey, and then you're going to have to keep driving again before you know it. So, it's not a bad thing. It's just something that I feel like we have to realize. Releasing control helps with that. Trying not to be possessive over people, places, and things, nouns, will help you with that. And just understanding how the cycles of life work will help you to accept that, to where I feel like a lot of us would be more successful when it comes to these short detours. But, I'm just saying.
Hey y'all. Okay, so I was in the middle of my fellowship. So I did medical school, then did my residency, and then I did my fellowship, which is a aesthetic fellowship focusing on contouring breast, body, face, everything, right? So it was awesome. But so halfway through my fellowship, they were like, hey, Amaka, like, we saw this great opportunity, perfect for you, right? And so I started looking at the opportunity. It was amazing. Like, you guys, I remember saying, this is the perfect job. It was an academic center. It was a department, made specifically for what I was interested in. It was in a really cool city. Everybody I talked to was amazing. I was supposed to go up there to do the in-person interviews, but you guys, it was like, literally, it was like, God, I see you. The perfect job, yo. Like, it just felt that way at the time. So thing goes on, things progress. And then I remember getting a call and they were like, hey, like, this position is no longer available because we no longer have the position available. And I was like, and in that moment I was devastated because I was like, I'm not going to find anything close to this ever again. Like, I just felt like all that joy was gone. I was devastated. And if y'all know how it is, if you've been through something like that, like, it's devastating. You may be going through that now. I was devastated. And, I smile now, but y'all, I was not smiling. Like, I actually remember I got the call. It was like between surgeries, and I went into surgery and I had like shed some tears before, and I just was trying to keep it together. So I was in my feelings, but you know how it is in life. You have to keep moving, right? So I kept moving. So long story short, you know how the story ends. Here we are, right? I have my own practice now. I ended up in Nashville. Really great opportunities here. However, what happened was I found out About a couple years after that, I had moved on, right? By then, I found out that actually that department that I was going to be a part of completely shut down. So I fast forward and thought, I was like, oh my gosh, I would have just been kind of left in the dust without anything. Like, God was watching out for me. But in that moment that I was going through that, it honestly felt like the opposite. It felt like, I was like, God, how come you presented me with this amazing thing, but then you it just went away like that? Like, it felt, I was like, what did I do, right? But at the same time, I kept hearing him say, I have such like better things for you. So, several things from that. In any moment where something's going on, and it's not going how you planned, it's hard. It's so hard, but you have to keep moving because you might miss your assignment, right? So you have to keep moving so you don't delay or miss your assignment, right? We all have an assignment. We all have gifts. We all have a purpose. You don't want to miss it just being caught up in those feelings or that, whatever that is. The other thing is the doors that close in this situation were, if not more important, as important as all the doors that opened to me, right? But it was in the face of rejection. Like, oftentimes rejection is literally divine protection, and it was in this case. I have so many stories. This happened many years ago, and here I am, like, just sharing it. I reflected on this story a lot, and it was God is really protecting me in that moment. But I'm going to be honest, in that moment, I didn't see it. So I hope that this helps you in whatever moment you're in. You have to know that something better is coming. You're being protected. You may not see it, but remember, rejection is God's protection. If it didn't happen for you, it's just not for you, and you just move on, keep moving, so you don't miss your assignment, right? That's how God works, and the key is really seeing the divinity and that supernatural aspect in these things, because it just changes your entire perspective, right? Okay, y'all, that's my story time for today. Y'all have a good one.
I know y'all heard about that plane crash in Brazil, but did you hear about the people that missed that flight because they went to the wrong gate? By the time they got to the right gate, the plane had left. And those people were pissed they missed that flight. And I get it. I'd have been pissed too, but those same people are now so thankful they were on that plane. And that reminds me of something that my mama used to always say. God's rejection is his protection. So be mindful of that this upcoming week. If you leave your house this week, you have to turn around and go back home because you forgot something. The job that you've been interviewing for says they don't want you. The person that you love doesn't want to love you back. That's God's protection. Say thank you, Jesus, and keep it moving. Because if you call yourself a Christian, you've got to walk by faith and not by sight. When you say your prayers this week, say a special prayer for everyone that was on that plane and for anyone that lost someone in that flight. Because when you think about it, losing your life on a plane has to be the scariest and worst way to go.
And y'all remember that? I wanted to add that video in, and I have another video after that, but I wanted to add that video in because that was crazy. That was crazy. That whole flight situation with all those people who unfortunately lost their lives. That it just makes me sad because I just feel like so many things could be avoided. But, sometimes, like I said, we can feel for people and we can be sad or, have empathy for their situation, but we don't know why things happen. So it's better not to question why something is happening because we never know what effect an event can have on events coming after it. It's like the butterfly effect, So it's like, even though it's a sad situation, I know that because of what I've learned and because of what I'm still learning, I know that my Most High God that I love, that I'm connected to, the source of life that is connected to me, is in control of all these things and knows all of these things. But this was crazy because this man, look, y'all, he said you were in that group, because it's basically saying, oh, that small child. Hold up, swell up. So it basically says Adriano Assis of Rio de Janeiro narrowly escaped death when he was denied entry to a passenger plane that later crashed, unaliving all 61 people on board. And that was the Brazil flight that we all heard about recently, okay? Now he's saying you were in that group that didn't get on. They missed their connection. How did it go? And then he said, I got here at 9:40, right? The Brazil was closed. I guess that's the gate. But the flight was leaving. By express flight. Said he was working at Toledo Regional Hospital. I know y'all could probably read, but I'm in group 10. When I arrived here, I waited to see if they'd open normally. There's always someone there at the counter. There was no one. Ooh. I stayed
Fiquei lá em
upstairs,
cima, tomei o
had my
café,
coffee and
esperei.
waited.
Quando deu,
The
o
microphone
microfone não
didn't
falou
say
nada,
anything.
os
The
placares
boards
também
didn't
não
say
avisaram nada
anything
sobre o
about
voo.
the flight either.
Eu, quando
When I
desci,
came
já era
down,
10h30,
it was
tinha uma fila
10:30,
enorme
and there was
aqui.
a huge queue
Fiquei
here.
esperando, quando deu
I waited, and when it
10h41, mais
got
ou
to
menos,
about 10:40,
o rapaz
the
falou que
guy
eu não ia
said I
embarcar
wasn't
mais
going to
porque
get
é
on
1 hora antes o
because it was an
embarque.
hour before boarding.
Nesse momento eu discuti com ele e
At that point, I
tal,
argued with him,
e
and so on.
foi isso,
And that was
assim.
it.
E ele salvou
And
minha
he saved
vida,
my
cara.
life, man.
Eu vi que você acabou abraçando ele porque
And they
ele fez o
hugged. Oh my
trabalho
God.
dele. Se ele não tivesse feito o trabalho dele, talvez hoje eu não estaria nessa entrevista aqui. Desculpa.
Wow. He said, yeah, he did his job. That's what he said. That's crazy, y'all. That man defied death. Because you know what? It's like you never know when something negative could happen in a situation. And it's just like, if you are not meant to go, it's just not going to be your time. And there are so many situations. I'm sure that you guys have so many stories. I definitely have a plane story because I was supposed to go to Dominican Republic. And what actually ended up happening was that I missed my flight, but I ended up being able to get another flight. And I think I was, it was a situation where I feel like I was meant to go to the Dominican Republic so that I could see things clearly in another situation that I was in. Because had I not gone to the Dominican Republic, I would have still been a bit blind in a different situation. So I feel like I was meant to go, but I definitely feel like my first flight being messed up, basically the paperwork was messed up. And that actually was my protection because it was kind of like a situation where you have all the different ingredients in a cake and you put it together and you bake the cake. The same thing happens with situations in your life where you come to a conclusion or you make an observation because of all the elements that comprise the situation. So if there are a bunch of different details or you have a situation where something happens a bunch of different times, one individual occurrence of a situation may not prompt you to draw the conclusion or get to the solution of the problem that your higher protectors want you to get to. But a collection of those different situations will help you see what your spiritual protectors are trying to get you to see. And when I tell y'all I was crying on the airport floor, I was in Atlanta airport on the floor. I was sad and upset. I was upset because I had worked really hard and saved my money. And I had like the most money that I think I made in 2023, had to be the most money that I made in 2023 or 2022. Whenever I took it, I can't remember, child. It was recent. It was like in the last like 2 years. I was ready. Like I hadn't been on a vacation in a long time because the vid and everything. Like I had not been out of the country. I hadn't been out of the state. I hadn't been on any type of vacation in a really long time. And I was frustrated and I really wanted to go. And when I got to the gate, they asked me, who is this on your boarding pass? It was my friend, right? Her name was on my boarding pass, but I had gotten through the airport, like the front of the airport desk to go all the way back to customs and things like that. Nobody said anything to me at the front desk. By the time I had got back there, y'all, I had literally ordered food because I'm thinking I'm in the place that I need to be. I don't want to stand in this line and walk up to the gate and not be able to get food because I didn't get a chance to eat before I got there. My uncle was keeping my kids, dropped me off at the airport, child. He was being so helpful to me because he knew that I needed a break and got up there and everything. And man, ate my food, sat down. It was like maybe, it was like maybe 45 minutes until they were going to start boarding the plane. I went to start going through, customs or whatever they call it, or whatever they call it, where you got to check your bag and all that stuff. Why they said my friend's name was on the thing. And I didn't even look at it, y'all. I just was that confident. I didn't even look when she gave me my ticket. So by the time all this happened, literally 30 minutes until the plane is going to take off, I had to rush back up there to the front desk. I spoke to a manager. She basically told me, oh, the girl messed up. I said, the girl messed up. This is a thousands of dollar trip that I'm taking that she has now potentially caused me to miss. I was heated. I was mad. I said, you need to retrain her. But at the end of the day, her delinquency or lack of paying attention could have possibly saved me from something negative. And I'm not saying that the plane went down. That's not what happened. But it was a Spirit Airlines flight. Y'all, look at my face when I say it was a Spirit Airlines flight. Okay, I'm just saying, Spirit Airlines, never been on Spirit, don't ever want to be on Spirit. The only reason why I booked with Spirit is because it was the most affordable, and I had to go with the most affordable because by the time I booked my flight, the flight that my friend was taking was already like all booked up because I didn't know if I was gonna be able to have the money to do all of this because I don't like traveling. I don't know how these girls be out here in the country traveling without no money. That's not what I'm about to do because you ain't gonna catch me stuck in nobody's country, honey, and not have the money to get back or the means to figure out what I'm gonna do. So luckily, long story short, I cried on the airport floor for about 10 minutes. And it was a crazy story because right next to the Spirit gate at Atlanta Airport, I think it's like United Airlines. It was crazy because the United Airlines people's uniform and like their whole desk looked like it was glowing, y'all. It looked like it was glowing. And I remember it because maybe it was the tears in my eyes, but I could almost swear that there was some type of anointing or a light shining down on these United Airlines people. So I went over there. I tried to like pull myself together because I was calling the customer service people. They weren't there yet. My flight was at like, it had to be like 8:30 in the morning. My friend got on her flight at like 7 something. I was supposed to get on at like 8:30. Had a layover. After I laid over the flight in Florida, I think I was going to go to DR, right? So child, I couldn't get on. I'm crying. I'm on the floor. People are looking at me crazy. Security's trying to help me get up. I see the glowing United Airlines people's uniform. So I walked over there and I talked to the lady and I was like, do you have any flights? I have not been at the airport like that. I never really like fly places. It's been a long time since I actually flew somewhere. Usually I drive. I think the last time I flew, it had to be like 2007 or 8 or something like that. So pretty much she told me that she didn't have any flights and I was just devastated. But she was like, it's okay. Don't cry. I don't want you to be upset. We're going to figure something out. I would have had to literally sit in the airport that whole night, or I would have had to call my uncle to come back and pick me up. But it was going to be so lame because by the time I got a flight, I would have had no time on my trip. The room was booked for a certain time. It would have really cut down the trip to the point where it kind of like would have made it not worth it to go. So she looked on her computer and she was like, I think Delta might have some flights, girl, but you need to go over there on the other side of the airport real quick and try to catch them before all the seats get booked. So I ran over there to the Delta desk on the whole, like this was on the whole other side of the airport, y'all. So I got over there. Literally no one was in line. Nobody was in line. It was crazy. There was literally no one waiting. And there were, all the attendants were, helping people, but there was literally no one waiting. It wasn't that big of a deal. I ended up talking to the lady. I told her what happened and I was begging her to please help me get a flight so I can get there by tonight. And she was like, well, we have 2 options for flights. One of them was like really soon. By the time all of this time had passed by, one of them was really soon because the Spirit Airlines lady was like, it's too late. We could have changed your name on the ticket if we had caught it when you were up here the first time, but now the plane is about to board. It's not enough time for that, right? So I wasn't getting on that Spirit flight no matter what. But I got over there to Delta. She was like, there's 2 options available. I'm gonna put you on standby for, I think the first one. It's like she put me on the flight that was later in the day. Like I think I had to wait instead of like leaving right then. It was like 9 something by this time, but instead of leaving right away, I would have had, I think I waited till like 11 something, like 11 or 12 o'clock the afternoon. So it wasn't that bad, but it was still a wait. I had to sit there, but she ended up putting me on standby for the flight that was leaving very soon, immediately, in case I made it down there to the gate on time. But I didn't end up making it down there to the gate. I think it was like a 9:45 departure, and I literally got to the gate at 9:45 when the plane was taking off. So I ended up having to wait on standby, but my flight was so much more peaceful. Delta was so much more professional. And I'm just saying that biasly because I don't know what Spirit is like. Never been on a Spirit flight, but from what I've heard, it's not very pleasant. And the only flights that I've ever really taken in the past were Delta or like, I think maybe Southwest. But it just goes to show that no matter what happened on that Spirit flight, just like this flight that we're talking about now, just like this situation where all of those people unfortunately lost their lives, you never know how you're being protected. Because even if that Spirit Airlines flight didn't go down, God forbid, there could have been somebody on that flight that was sick. there could have been somebody on that flight that was weird and pervy. And maybe I was going to be sitting next to someone who was not in my best interest, or you know what I mean? Like, planes are confined spaces. Maybe it could have been some people on there that were, you know, dealing with some spiritual attachments. You know what I'm saying? Because stuff be jumping on folks and you never know what's jumping on people. I literally spent all of my money that I had for that trip on my extra flight, but not only did I get a better flight, it was no layovers, so I did not have to stop. It was a one-way trip there and back, and it was free. I got a refund for my ticket, and I got some money back for the amount of money that I paid for the trip. So it ended up turning out very well in my favor, and I still got to enjoy the beautiful scenery and everything that I wanted to do. I wasn't able to do everything, but I was able to do a lot of things that I really wanted to do, and it gave me an experience that I very much so value. So, you know, long story short, you guys, you know I'm long-winded and I like to talk, but it's for a good reason. And I think that from now on, if you watch this video and you gain something from it, definitely leave a comment below. Let me know what you've gained from this video, what you've gained from the topic, what you've kind of like reflected on for yourself, and share it with the people who may come and watch this later, because I guarantee you that sometimes when you're in a dark place, that's the only thing you need to hear, is that someone else knows how you feel and they've been where you are and that you got out of it, so that they can feel as if they can get out of it too. So leave some in the comments if this was helpful to you guys or you enjoyed it. Let me know what y'all want to hear next, because I would love to do some more of these reactions on subjects that you guys want to hear. I definitely have gotten some of you guys' requests, so those are definitely in the works. But leave me some comments below and let me know what you guys want to hear next. Be sure to like and subscribe so you can continue to catch the vibe. Share the video with someone who you think might need to hear it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.